this month actually marks 25 years since Diana's death. Can you believe that?
Wow.
25 years. And now a new documentary on Crave is questioning whether the world has had an unhealthy obsession with the late princess. Yeah, I feel like some of the audience is nodding. Would you think that this is true?
Absolutely.
Yes, but even in saying that we have an unhealthy obsession, like, we're still watching the documentary. We're still looking and you're still like following the story. So it's one of those weird situations. I think for me, when I was watching this documentary, I was reminded that I was 7 when Princess Diana married Prince Charles. And so at the time, it was the fairy tale. You're only a kid, a child, and you're like, this is a princess, and she's so glamorous, and wow, what it would be like to be her. And so I'm almost meeting her again in these years as a proper adult and thinking to myself, wait a minute, she was a teenager when they got engaged. She was 19.
Yeah.
You know, she was only just 20 when they got married. So then you think about all other 19-year-olds you know now or have known. Or when you were 19, would you have been ready for that? No. So everything shifts.
If it was a prince, maybe.
Sure.
Maybe.
I mean, and listen, she probably made the inevitable decision. Who could have possibly said no? But then when you reframe that and you watch this old footage, there's this interview that they show in the film, and she's doing an interview sitting next to Charles. So you think, hey, typically these royal people, they present themselves a certain way. She's slouching. At one point she goes like this in an interview.
Yeah.
And these days we hear all about comportment, no pantyhose, black nail polish is bad. But like Diana was out there kind of breaking these rules or setting these rules, or maybe because of what she did, they set the rules, because there's no way Kate or Meghan could do an interview like this.
Yeah.
Slouching, right?
And yet she
so it's like
wasn't
it's a
even
really weird
typecast
thing.
As like the bad one. Like Sarah got the position of being, remember Sarah?
Yes, the bad
Ferguson,
influence.
The bad influence.
Yeah.
And she was just sort of this, like, I do think it dovetailed into our public imagination of just the princess thing, the blonde, the kind of wafy, beautiful, glamorous. It all went into that kind of public imagination. But underneath that, there's something else, which is that she had this, remember the obsession with her virginity? I don't know if you remember this, but people were talking on British tabloids about the fact that
Not
she
just
was...
tabloids, news, BBC.
This was like a thing you could say and talk about, which just seems so ridiculous.
They actually said on the BBC, and reportedly her virginity is intact.
That's right.
Like they reported
would say
that.
this.
I know.
And there was this kind of like innocent sexiness that I do think if we kind of just peel back the layers of that, there was a photo that was taken well before. She was still Diana Spencer at the time, and she was backlit. She was carrying 2 kids that she taught. I think she was a teacher at one point in time. And she's backlit, and you can see her legs quite clearly. And people have compared that since then to Marilyn Monroe's upskirt shot. And a similar kind of fascination, obsession that we had with this kind of innocence, unexpected sexiness. Britney Spears falls into this category. There is something about us, and I don't know if we've gotten past that kind of thing. Women who are vulnerable and sexy and sort of like there's something in there.
Well, absolutely.
TED Talk on it. I don't know what.
No, I absolutely agree with you. But I was thinking, I was obsessed with celebrity culture. Like in my bedroom as a teenager, I must have had over 100 posters of celebrities all over my walls growing up. And what we were raised with before we know more now about mental health and what they're really going through. Diana represented everything that every fairy teller told us we were supposed to be. We were supposed to be white, blonde, blue-eyed, demure, smart, but not too smart, well-bred. You speak, but not too much. And then most importantly, she was chosen. Chosen by a prince, right? So we romanticize. And before, like I just said, we didn't know what they were really going through. So when we heard a little grumblings about her being upset or bored or seeing her body language off, we kind of treated it like, yeah, but you're lucky. You got chosen by a prince. You live in a castle. What's the problem? And I think we are very dismissive. And now, because of all of the documentaries that we've seen today with MJ and Britney, we now know what the fresh hell that they were going through. And I think the obsession now is knowing that, you know what, we thought this was perfect, but in fact, her life, we were better off than she was. And I think that's the obsession that we have of just looking at going, how did we miss all of these cues that she was giving us in those interviews, the things that she was saying and doing and her weight loss? We didn't pay attention to any of that because we were so busy thinking that, oh my gosh, if I could be Diana, if I could be that lucky. So I think it's that obsession comes from that, the kind of like, you always are looking at the grass is always greener on the other side. And clearly it wasn't.
It wasn't. But I mean, I, like a lot of people, also followed Diana, was enamored with her because there was still a mystery about her. But I took it even further. 5 years ago, when it was the 20th anniversary of her passing, I actually didn't just go to London. I actually traveled to her childhood home.
Wow.
It's a home you can visit. It's called Althorpe. It's, you know, under 2 hours outside of London. And when I visited there was a ton of people there. And I was trying to sit back and be like, what is it about her? This kind of conversation. And this is where they've created, the Spencer family has created this beautiful area. You can actually tour her home. This was her bedroom growing up. And so this is the home. So, you know, the whole fairy tale, it started when she was very young. And if you look in the distance, hold this photo if you don't mind, Ben. That is a pond, a man-made pond. And in the middle is where she is buried. And the family said that's the only place that she finally could get some peace. That's what they said. And I think a lot of us were pondering that. Like, what was it? And I think it's a bit deeper. I think it was at a certain point when we realized the tragedy that was unfolding. Maybe we didn't understand mental health, but we did understand there was a tragedy unfolding. And I think it speaks to a very primal part of all of us, the desire to be loved, the desire to be free, like there was, I think it spoke to a part of us and our humanity, even though we didn't see her humanity. So I think, and she died young, and I think that means that in a way, she's kind of forever young, and so she'll never die.
She's frozen in amber.
You know, she's frozen, yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we want to let you know if you want to watch that doc, it's called The Princess. It is streaming right now on Crave.
You know where you can get some more all-around great content? Our YouTube page. It's filled with all the laughs and thought-provoking chats you could ask for. So do yourself a favor, like and subscribe now.